total number of naval assets, the US falls in fourth place, behind Russia and China, and even behind North Korea.
Behind Russia?
Surprising first place.
North Korea? You kidding me?
However, in case of a maritime conflict, it would still be hard to counter the power of the US Navy, supported by...
Man, America would smash North Korea, man. There's no doubt about that. What's up, team? My name is Tom, and today I'm gonna react to a documentary called How Strong is the United States Military? And when it comes down to military, United States are best in the world. So let's check it out, guys. Let's go.
Why is the US military the strongest? Great military...
Well, let me think. I think because they pour a lot of money and a lot of development, a lot of people working on the military 24/7, maybe because of that. Also, the war experience. They have a lot of war experience.
Now it's time for the United States of America to be the leader in military might. But what makes it so powerful? Will its power remain undisputed? Are there already signs of weakness? Would it really stand in a conflict with potential rivals like China or Russia?
Yeah, I think so.
To find out, we should analyse why exactly the US military is considered the strongest. The numbers. The US has 1,400,000 active military personnel. This figure
Not too bad.
In third place in this category.
Wow.
China has the largest army with slightly above 2 million soldiers, while India comes in second place. This doesn't sound that impressive, but what makes the US military stand out is not necessarily the raw number of men. The US has unquestionable air supremacy. The US military is number one in air power, with 13,264 total military aircraft, a total that is greater than the other 5 greatest air forces combined. 2,085 are air-to-air fighters, 715 ground attack aircraft, 945 transportation
Not too bad, not too bad.
5,768 helicopters, and 967 attack helicopters. The US is number one in each aircraft category, except for air-to-ground forces, where it's slightly topped by Russia. The US has a powerful navy that is designed to work in conjunction with its air force.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought also.
Carriers. 11 are regular fixed-wing carriers, while 9 are capable of hosting only...
Literally, US has been fighting in wars since like they became independent, I guess, because like I would say in 20th century, First World War, Vietnam War, Korean War, Afghanistan, Iraq, what else, and like a lot of other places in the world. Their soldiers have been, so they have like a lot of experience. First World War also.
And short takeoff.
I don't remember. Second World War. Did I said it?
This is almost half of the world's total number of aircraft carriers, while most of the others belong to allied countries. If we take into account only regular
20
aircraft capacity,
aircraft carriers. Wow.
Aircraft carriers is over twice that.
Just imagine
all the other nations
how much it costs to build one.
The US Navy has the greatest number of destroyers and ranks third in the number of submarines. The numbers of the US naval strength are a bit tricky. If we count the total number of naval assets, the US falls in fourth place, behind Russia and China, and even behind North Korea.
Behind Russia?
Surprising first place.
North Korea? You kidding me?
However, in case of a maritime conflict, it would still be hard to counter the power of the US Navy, supported by...
Man, America would smash North Korea, man. There's no doubt about that. No doubt about that.
Air supremacy and allied forces. Land power. The US is slightly behind Russia regarding raw numbers. American ground forces number 6.
Yeah, but in America there's less corruption happening. Just take a look what happened in Ukraine when Russia came into Ukraine. They thought it's gonna be easy walk, a 3 days war. Yeah, it's like third year already of the war. First of all, and second of all, they are like there's a lot of corruption over there. And there's a lot of bad things regarding to their soldiers. They are not getting paid enough, and a lot bad things in Russian army happening at the moment in Ukraine.
1,289 tanks.
And these things, I doubt that it would happen in USA army.
39,000 armoured vehicles, 1,465 self-propelled artillery, and 1,366 rocket projectors.
Okay.
However, Russia has a lot of outdated vehicles with questionable performance in case of a real conflict.
Yes.
Meanwhile, the US military...
And most of them are now in Ukraine, just like there was a witness of like 50s tanks from 1950s used by Russia in Ukraine. Man, like what?
Has a broad technological edge. The US has 5,800 nuclear warheads that make
Oh
it the
my
world's
gosh,
second largest
5,000.
nuclear
Man,
weapon.
this kind of
In this
like
video,
this amount
we're
can destroy
analysing
like
the conventional military
planet
strength,
3
but it
times,
can
I
be denied
guess.
that a nuclear arsenal does bring a certain status. Even if things don't escalate to a full-blown nuclear war, it's intimidating to any country to be armoured with such nuclear power. The quality. The US Army consists entirely of trained professionals, and many have real combat experience. Since the beginning of this century, the US has been involved in military conflicts in Afghanistan, Iraq,
Yeah, Pakistan even.
Somalia,
All right.
Libya, Uganda, and Yemen.
Syria.
While other countries still rely on conscripts to fill the numbers, the US can field an army of well-trained, experienced
And that's,
professionals
I think she
with
said about
equipment,
21st
military
century.
assets, and the technology used in combat.
But every experience counts.
This is the defining reason why US casualties are usually fewer than those of their adversaries. The strong ability to project power is another defining trait of the United States military. Size, technology, and experience are nothing if you can't reach the enemy. Power projection is the ability of a state to deploy and sustain forces outside its territory. Only a few states are capable to overcome the difficulties that involve power projection, and the US excels at it. This is made possible by several factors. The home base of the US is safe. The neighbouring countries are friendly. Potential enemies are far away. The large landmass makes it a country that is hard to invade. It also has coastlines along 2 oceans and strategic islands that hold military bases. The US forces can reach far, fast, and deploy great numbers of forces supported by the enforcement of air and sea superiority, combined with excellent transportation capabilities.
Yeah, this woman persuaded me that it's going to be very hard to invade the United States. I think the closest state of the emergency that the United States felt was in Caribbean crisis when the Soviet Union delivered atomic rockets to Cuba, and like it was very close to World War III back then.
Even if it doesn't engage in combat, the US can enforce naval and air blockades that can severely...
Man, it's scary how strong is US military. It's scary.
Bases operating outside of its territory. Information regarding the exact number and location of such bases involves classified information, so we can only estimate the total extent of the overseas military presence. Back in 2013, the Pentagon stated that there were around 600 military bases overseas. A rough estimate would be around 1,000 overseas US military compounds. Approximately 165,000 military personnel is stationed outside the United States. This doesn't include areas of conflict such as Syria, Iraq, and Afghanistan. The US has significant forces deployed in around 55 countries and autonomous territories. It is also estimated that more than 150 countries have a certain degree of...
Best way to learn faster is to practice, and they practice very good, like by sending their soldiers to these conflict zones.
US military presence.
150 countries. Oh my gosh, kidding me?
The United States can rely on a vast network of alliances.
Now I understand why Russia feels so sad about the fact that the US is all over the place because they want to control everything. The Russia want to control everything, you know. But nowadays, USA controls everything. Like, I mean, by everything, I mean most of the land around the world because they have bases all around the world. USA does.
It is the de facto leader of NATO, the world's strongest military alliance. 18 other countries are designated as
Oh, Canada is part of NATO.
allies.
I didn't know that.
This list includes countries like Australia, New Zealand, Japan, South Korea, Philippines, Thailand, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Egypt, Israel, Argentina, and Brazil. Taiwan's status is a bit more complicated and it can be considered a de facto ally. Some countries are not formal allies but have a strong strategic partnership with the US. One notable example is India, that participates in regular military drills together with US forces and some of its allies. Economy. Modern warfare is sustained in the long term by two main factors: the capacity to produce military equipment and the capacity to spend money on defense.
Yeah, and the capacity to get money from the people who live there in the USA, because this is one of the reasons why you don't want to mess with the taxman in USA, because you get gonna get jailed. Because the power, in my opinion, the power of US Army depends of the taxpayers and how much money will they get from the taxpayers also.
American defense companies are the indisputable top producers of weaponry. Among the world's top 10 defense suppliers, 5 of them are American companies. Lockheed Martin is the biggest. It reported a revenue of almost 60 billion US dollars in 2019. That's close to Russia's entire annual military spending.
Wow! Oh my god! And it's only one company.
It's also due to its huge military budget. In 2019, spending on the US military was a whopping 732 billion US dollars. That's almost 3 times more than China, the world's second largest military spender, and is roughly 1/3 of the entire world's defense budget.
Wow!
Russia is commonly regarded
Oh my
as
god!
the second most powerful army in the world. Its budget consists of only $65 billion. Arguably, there is an aspect of purchasing power. For example, it's cheaper to pay a Russian or Chinese soldier, but the cost of high-quality military equipment is still the same around the world. The reason that the US can afford such an enormous military budget is that it's supported by a strong economy.
Okay.
America has been the world's largest economy since 1871. Its nominal GDP is currently 21.44 trillion US dollars.
Oh my
This
gosh!
is almost a quarter of the global economy, and it's
Man.
backed with plenty of natural resources, advanced infrastructure, and technology. Besides the ability to sustain an enormous defense budget, the US often uses its
USA!
economic strength as a
USA!
weapon by enforcing economic sanctions. Soft factors. Soft power is another factor that comes into play when assessing a country's might. The US is world-beating in culture, education, and technology. American pop culture has an enormous influence, and this won't change.
On the whole
anytime soon.
world, they have influence.
America also hosts most of the world's top-ranking universities with a record number of international students. The US leads the world of technology and digitalization as home to the world's most influential tech companies like Apple, Google, Microsoft, and Facebook. It's easy to think that this doesn't seem important in warfare, but imagine an enemy soldier that would have to attack the country where his cousin studies, the country of his favorite music band,
Yeah.
the country of his favorite actors from the movie that he watches on an American media platform like YouTube.
The country that has software on his phone that he uses, you know, the software comes from the country that his phone uses. That's what I mean.
Or an American smartphone with American software. Finally,
I didn't
there is
watch it.
another
I'm watching it
critical
first time,
aspect.
guys.
It is called the will to fight. And this is the single most important factor in war. The will to fight is the disposition to engage in combat, the determination to keep fighting even when facing precarious odds, and finally to win. At an individual level, a soldier with a low will to fight will avoid engagement with the enemy and is likely to flee when things get tough. A battle is won when the enemy's will to fight is broken. Wars
Yes.
don't end when one military destroys the other. Wars end when one side grows weary of fighting, doesn't
That's
see any
exactly
further
that.
purpose in the continuation of the conflict, and gives up.
If there's no human, there's no problem, you know how they say.
The national will to fight is what keeps
So that's why propaganda comes in play over here. Propaganda is keeping you fighting, you know, and the money, of course. If the country has the money to pay the soldiers, propaganda money, it's a key to success, you know.
a nation
Just take a look at
fighting.
Russia, man.
This
Propaganda is
commonly
working very
linked
good
to a
over
sense
there.
of patriotism, national identity, and motivation generated by the idea that one fights for what is right. In the past, this has been a strong point of the US, as Americans have been fighting against dictators and terrorists that lacked concern for human life and dignity.
Yeah,
In
that's for
contrast,
sure.
the USA has been
They
regarded
don't
as a
care about
country
human
that
life,
embodies
dictators
values of
do.
freedom,
They just don't
democracy,
care,
and the rule
man.
of law. It was the country that defined such values. Even more, it was the country that was
USA!
willing to fight.
Guys, if you enjoy my content, please like, subscribe, click the bell, and comment below what do you think about USA. Do you love USA? Do you hate USA? I want to hear your opinions about this.
Fight for these values. The American soldier has been motivated by a sense of moral supremacy rooted in the country's Christian tradition. However, America doesn't seem to be so cohesive in its values anymore. There are many factors intertwined that provoke this. It's a complex topic that deserves a study on its own. But the outcome is that America is now a country that is greatly divided among ideological lines and systems of belief. Many of its citizens are not sure what to believe in anymore, or even what they stand for. There have been many lessons in history. Small nations became great empires by holding high moral standards along with a disciplined and motivated army.
Yeah, nowadays we live in times where there's a lot of reasons to disagree with each other, you know, because you know, like, let's start with gender, race, like politic views, etc, 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 and these things are used to divide people so that they won't come together, you know, and become like a force, unfortunately. And it's
A great
being used
empire's
very
fall
effective
was
nowadays by
usually
the
preceded
governments,
by internal strife and moral crisis.
in my opinion,
The
of
final
course.
story of the United States of America as a global power is not yet written. The nation's strength rests upon its citizens and their decisions. It's a matter of this great nation getting back its cohesion and moral compass. That is, if it wants to keep its status as the world's greatest superpower and defender of freedom.
Let's go! That was it, ladies and gentlemen. Did you enjoy it? Have you learned something new from this video? If yes, please comment below the video and like, subscribe, and please press the bell to get notified about new videos. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next reaction videos. Bye.